screen into the hands of LeBron James. Butler on him.
Yeah, he was ready to take on the whole team. He had 2 guys on him. A third defender came. So with 3 guys on you, make the right play.
We got a hell of a look. We got a hell of a look to win the game, to win the series. Didn't go down.
We had everybody in the paint. You know, LeBron just had a bunch of those possessions in the fourth quarter where he was just getting to the basket, offensive rebounding, everything, you know, at the rim. So we needed to bring not only a second defender there, a third defender, and of course Danny Green is there.
So, was this the right decision? Should LeBron have been the one to shoot this? Was there a better decision to be made? To answer these questions, we need to figure out how we got here. It was just 3 minutes prior to this that LeBron had almost the same exact play, drawing 2 defenders and getting his shot blocked out of bounds. And down the stretch, LeBron continually demonstrated how to find the open man after his own gravity opened up these good looks for teammates. This is what LeBron does. And it wasn't like he was avoiding shooting the ball in this critical juncture. Twice in the last 90 seconds, he manufactured buckets by sheer force of will and overpowering physical presence, each time to regain the lead for his team. And let's give credit to Jimmy Butler. His effort to contest this took away a straight pass to Green, forcing him into a tough catch and bounce, disrupting his rhythm, and enabling Andre Iguodala to get that much closer on his contest. But we can't stop there with the credit for Butler. One could argue he had an even better game than his wondrous performance in Game 3. And it comes down to the defensive adjustment the Lakers made to put Anthony Davis on him. This step-up screen on the right side has killed the Lakers throughout the series, and it just takes setting a solid screen on AD to be successful. They try it again here, and while the initial action doesn't produce a bucket, Butler takes him to the other side before hitting him with a pull-up jumper before Davis could even contest the shot. And Butler was able to attack in isolation on AD as well, as if to say, I'm going to officially exploit this matchup for buckets. While this is the worst shot in basketball with his foot on the three-point line, it was a key part of a run that extended their lead to the largest margin of the game at 11 points. And it proved easy enough for the Heat to force a switch and get AD off of Butler, where he can invite Dwight to dance, but then drop him off early before the clock strikes midnight. And when they needed it the most, it was Jimmy attacking the slightly gimpy Davis for a pull-up from 17 to break the tie with under 2 minutes left. And in a scene we've seen on repeat, they force Morris onto him with a ball screen. No extra help comes despite either AD or LeBron being in prime help position. And Butler hits him with a beautiful Dirk leg to retain the lead with a minute left. All of this analysis takes a lot of time, and it's painstaking to go through hundreds of clips. You probably feel like you don't have the time to develop yourself and learn more by reading nonfiction books from cover to cover. That's where Blinkist comes in. They've got tons of nonfiction books that are condensed into just 15 minutes, so you can quickly absorb the information. Plus, they've got a whole library of full-length audiobooks. I've got the Hoops Whisperer going right now, and there are so many other resources for coaches on Blinkist, like Play Their Hearts Out and Furious George. The first 100 people to go to Blinkist.com/BBALLBreakdown are going to get unlimited access for 1 week to try it out. You'll also get 25% off if you want the full membership. So head over to Blinkist.com/BBALLBreakdown right now, so you can then get back to focusing on the exploits of one Duncan Robinson. As he's gotten more and more comfortable playing in the finals, he's gotten more and more three-point shots. And from what we've seen so far, it's only a matter of attempts for him, since his sharpshooting is one of the most impressive things I've seen this whole playoffs. He never stops moving, nor do his teammates ever stop trying to find him. As Butler again attacks the AD matchup by forcing Dwight onto him, watch how Danny Green glitches for 2 whole steps before realizing Robinson can lick his thumb and check the wind before shooting this. Apparently, AD had banged up his right heel at some point during the playoffs, so when he went down like this, like there was a sniper in the crowd, the Heat waste zero time attacking 3-on-3. Rondo is so busy calling for his teammates to hustle back down, he doesn't realize he's drifted into help one pass away off of Duncan frickin' Robinson. You let him get comfortable from back there, it's going to be a long game for you. On this split screen near the elbow, it forces the switch of LeBron onto Butler, while AD and Crowder take a swim near the hoop. LeBron gets beat to the rim, and can you believe it? It's KCP's turn to glitch like 2K when the internet drops, and it's another wide open corner three for the Duncan. When you want your shooter to get open, have him set a back screen first. Robinson doesn't even have to make contact to force Caruso to look that way, putting him 3 steps behind the play. Neither James or Caruso can get there on the handoff, and the cushion they build here proves crucial for the end of the game. This switch was laughable in its needlessness, and the Heat must feel like Christmas had come early when they again get the Morris matchup. However, give Keith credit for cutting him off perfectly. But close your eyes if you can't take colossal mistakes, as Caruso screens his own teammate to let Robinson again launch while wide open. Had LeBron followed his man up, he could have contested this too, but let's face it, the defense here was a mess. And that brings us back to the fateful last minute of the play, an intense game of epic proportions with a title riding on the line. Butler doesn't even wait to force the switch, getting by both AD and Morris before getting hacked across the arm on the follow-through. While there is contact with the ball first, the ref sees a distinct contact across the wrist and blows the whistle. Interestingly, due to exhaustion, Eric Spoelstra waits as long as possible before Jimmy gets handed the ball for the free throws to call a timeout, giving Butler crucial seconds of extra rest. But it means they've used one of their 2 remaining timeouts. Down 1, the Lakers want to force the switch so LeBron can attack Robinson. I like how Duncan keeps his distance to contain while Butler aggressively closes to pick up LeBron again. Bam is also shadowing because AD is hanging out in the dunker spot, enabling Crowder to guard 2 players at once. I like the cut by Morris since it sucks Crowder in, but that was a mistake. Robinson is already there to pick the cutter up. Incredible blind deflection of the pass disrupts this into an air ball, but it's one of the only ways Davis will easily grab this board and put it back in for the lead. The Lakers wisely choose to put LeBron on Butler, considering Davis sprained his own ankle a few minutes before. But when Crowder sets a flat screen like this, Butler can choose which side he wants to go towards. Morris hedging like this is a mistake, and it forces AD to rotate to contest. They had Bam for a layup, but this is a clear foul as Davis is drifting into Butler's airspace. It's clear the verticality rule does not apply here with this collision, and Butler gets the lead back. And that brings us to the key possession everyone is talking about. Wondering why Myers Leonard freaks out on the bench? Well, I'll just leave this right here. But again, LeBron has proven over the entire course of his career that he's always willing to make the right play. That said, was it the right decision to drive, knowing he'd take himself out of a potential shot? One thing he doesn't really have is any type of pull-up game. Of course, we all remember this shot against the Spurs way back in 2013, but it's been a long time since we'd seen him hit a pull-up jumper like this. It's just not in his bag anymore. And we can't ignore the fact that not only did this play generate an open look from an elite shooter, they get the offensive rebound. But instead of throwing a step-through bounce pass towards the left block, Morris tries the riskiest of passes, and let's not overlook a quick skip pass back to LeBron for one last shot as well. It might have been risky to throw it across the court, but it certainly wasn't any riskier than this dying quail that sails out of bounds. Can you hear me shaking my head? Without a timeout, having used it to give Butler an extra rest, it makes the ending slightly more interesting, but the Lakers must foul, the Heat hit their free throws, and now we're heading to a Game 6, with momentum in favor of the Heat, and the Lakers having to pick up the pieces of what could have been. There are a ton of questions the Lakers need to answer in order to feel good about taking care of business on Sunday. Is AD hurt? Can they hit more open threes? Can they stop Jimmy Butler? can Vogel outmaneuver Spoelstra? While I think it's 50-50, the more these questions creep into the discussion, the more likely we are to get to a Game 7. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for even more great NBA breakdowns coming up. We'll be busy covering the rest of the finals and have lots of content in store for the off season. So make sure you adjust those notifications. You in?